Malam ini kita akan mencoba untuk presentasi kita mulai dari grup 5 dulu. Silakan Pak Husen dan Pak Mas Reza, silakan.
Oke, terima kasih. Okay, I try to present contact lens complication RGP. Complication from gas permeable contact lens wear. Fitting gas permeable cornea CL is a highly technical skill requiring commensurate knowledge and experience. GPCL can adversely alter anterior ocular structure both acutely and chronically. Those conditions range from benign to very serious. Ocular redness, tear film stability, dryness, grittiness, or burning. Allergy or toxicity, itchiness, thinning on inserting, reduce contact lens tolerance, inflammatory during meal photophobia, infection, pain or discomfort and discharge, reduce vision, central or paracentral lesion. Ocular redness management. First, dictated by the course, minimize ocular compromise, staining or mechanical effects, optimize contact lens fit, CL material or surface, CL car ingredient, care and maintenance procedure, environment and hygiene, and CL preparation. And number 4, treat or manage any tear film problem. CLVC, contact lens papilla conjunctivitis. CL awareness on eye, CL movement, reduce wearing time, and itchiness, increase on CL removal, vision blurs or fluctuating vision, discharge from the eyes. CLVC management, minimize wear or discontinue contact lens wear, replace GPCL with DDSCL temporarily, determine cause if possible and modify. Replace contact lens or polish contact lens completely, deposit or care and maintenance, and then add safe application, thinner overall CL design, and reduce CL wear, sample extended wear to daily wear. 3 and 9 o'clock staining. This picture often asymptomatic if mild, dry eyes, burning and itching, CL wearing time, and reduce red eyes, apparent and observed. And dictated by course, early phase, patient education, use of the fair supplement, improve blinking, redesign CL to improve fitting, increase CL wettability, and reduce surface deposit. Modify wearing time, then improve fit and optimize comfort. Thin edge, equatorial to posterior edge apex. Reduce edge clearance, large total diameter, 9.5 to 10 millimeter. Aspheric or blended back surface. Antecedent maybe asymptomatic. Associated condition may cause irritation. 3 and 9 o'clock standing and this dry eye. Jalan management, determinant course, minimize 3 and 9 o'clock standing if present, ocular lubricant, temporal discontinuation of CL wear, use of SCL as bandage, DDSCL, monitor recovery, and if continue lens wear is needed, consider temporary use of soft lenses, refitting with mini scleral lenses. Corneal ulceration. This picture is underlying focal infiltrate, diffuse edema surrounding infiltrate, anterior stromal improvement, localized redness, tearing or photophobia, pain, and or discomfort. Next, Reza.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Husen. Corneal ulceration management. First, eliminate 3 and 9 o'clock staining if it is the precursor. Review frequency for extended wear. Prophylactic topical antibiotic. And the last generally will resolve with scaring. Corneal desiccation. Ini ada beberapa gambar yang menggunakan pola Floreskin dan tes Rosbengal dan tanpa Floreskin. Usually acid with sodium Floreskin, fetal stain, corneal staining indicative of cell damage, weak-knit attachment, or cell loss. Other fetal dyes include Bengal and Lissamine green. Next. Corneal staining. Erratic tracking line visible with sodium Floreskin. Sharp pain if foreign body or contact lens defect. Discomfort or foreign body sensation. Photophobia or tearing. Next. Okay. Corneal staining management. Remove contact lens and remove or flash cause. Example, dust or debris from eye. Prophylactic antibiotic may be required. Change contact lens care system if toxic or allergy. If foreign body, consider eye protection. Patient education to expect foreign body occasionally. Contact lens design minimize edge clearance. Yeah. Conjunctiva staining, usually asymptomatic. Mild contact lens awareness often has association with corneal desiccation condition, may have association with limbal hyperemia, superior conjunctival staining rarely seen in rigid contact lens wearers. Use of stain enables monitoring of damage and healing. Lissaman green and sodium fluorescein provide different perspective on the same condition. Conjunctival staining management. Optimize contact lens fitting and the first centration and then diameter, movement, edge clearance. Lubricating during contact lens wear, artificial tears. Improve blinking, refit with soft contact lens, punctal occlusion. Ya, vascularis limbal keratitis. Vascularis limbal must with associated bulbar redness, elevate with ill-defined borders, nasal and or temporal. Associated conjunctival staining, minimal in early stage, gradual discomfort, contact lens awareness, later moderate discomfort or pain. Reduce wearing time, observe increasing ocular redness, photophobia, lacrimation. Next. Nah, ini adalah cara penanganannya. Pertama, regular aftercare, kemudian reversible condition, reduce wearing time or temporary discontinuation of contact lens, lubricant decongestant, redesign contact lens to smaller diameter, optimize edge lift. Corneal vascularization. New vessel between and beyond limbal gauze vessels. Distinguish between fillet gauze limbal vessel, limbal hyperemia or endorsement, and new vessels. Vessels beyond limbal transition zone into the normal avascular cornea. Panus is more likely than single vessels, generally asymptomatic. Vascularization may accompany non-contact lens related painful anterior segment disease, and ocular history will assist differentiation. Ini manajemennya, early detection essential, increase lens decaparte, optimize contact lens, no limbal overlap or better concentration, good movement, reduce diameter or total diameter. Contact lens adherence, often asymptomatic, mild awareness, blurred vision, dryness, ocular pain, foreign body sensation, spectacle blur following contact lens removal. Management, adherence often not preventable. Patient education, first assess contact lens is morning, and then use ocular lubricant, mobilize contact lens with lead pressure, never remove contact lens until mobile. Contact lens fitting, increase tear volume, fit with slight apical pulling, reduce total diameter, switch from aspheric design, and the last revert to daily wear from extended wear. Blink related problems, excessive or slowed blinking, excessive contact lens movement, incomplete blinking, or band deposit, band of dryness, BUT, and blink frequency may be related inversely. Corneal and or conjunctival staining, ocular redness, discomfort, dry, tired eyes, transition, disturbance of vision. Management, optimize contact lens, its profile or field. Increase contact lens centration, patient education, understand problems, difficult to overcome by straining, as a last resort to solve contact lens. Oke, fitting problems mungkin di sini bisa kita lihat ya untuk gambar ada 3 gambar yang mana untuk hard contact lensnya ini posisinya tidak berada di tengah. Yang pertama ini ada berada di arah temporal, kemudian ada di arah inferior sama di superior yang paling pojok kanan atas. Nah ini decentration, slight excessive or over the limbus, movement limited section variable, unstable fitting variable location of movement, fluorescent pattern, bearing pressure, falling bubbles if too deep, center, mid periphery, periphery edge. Management, fit to achieve near alignment centrally, revisit, contact lens parameter choose initially, remeasure contact lens parameters at aftercare, optimize edge design, ensure adequate movement, a key success factor. Contact lens wear patch, irregular Myers, the first radius scope, and then pachymeter or lensometer, and then keratometer or ophthalmometer. Overrefraction, no precise endpoint, irregular or inexplicable result, alter contact lens fit or fluorescent pattern. CL War Patch. Ini adalah beberapa gambar untuk cara yang pertama adalah mishandling, yang kedua cara pembersihannya, yang ketiga adalah untuk stress free contact lens storage atau wadah contact lensnya. Management, replace contact lens, patient re-education, optimize contact lens design, thickness, material, hands-free or hand-off contact lens cleaning, do not to lower the Decaperte materials. Terima kasih, sekian dari kelompok 5.
Oke, baik.
Pertamanya
Kita
enggak,
next ke
Reza? Bentar dong Mas ya, lihat slide pertamanya dong Reza.
Sebentar, Mbak.
Kedua, sliding kedua.
Ini Mbak Yemi.
Oke, sudah. Ini membahas tentang komplikasi RGP ya, gitu.
Iya, betul.
Oke, makasih.
Oke.
Oke, sekarang kita menuju ke kelompok 1 dulu. Mas Andika udah siap? We change to group 1.
Gas.
Oke, siap. Silakan Mas Andika dan Mas Alif.
Oke, Mas.
Udah kelihatan ya?
Ya, silakan Mas.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And I want to presentation about NPA and PRA. Okay, NRA or negative relative accommodation is a measure of maximum ability to relax accommodation while maintaining clear single binocular vision. And PRA, positive relative accommodation, is of the maximum ability to accommodative while maintaining clear single binocular vision of a target. Purpose NRA, the RNA test can be conducted at the eyes clinic or doctor office by an optometrist, an ophthalmologist, and orthoptist. The identification of functional ocular abnormalities relies on the clinical examination of accommodation and convergence and their interrelationship. NRA is a standard subjective procedure the doctor can use to evaluate a patient ability to decrease accommodation relative to a near point variance stipulation of 40 centimeter. It helps the doctor to detect accommodative and variance anomaly. Purpose PRA, detection of functional ocular anomalies, rely on the clinical evaluation of accommodation and variance, and their interdependence. PRA is a standard subjective evaluation the doctor used to examine patient ability to decrease accommodation relative to near point variance. Analyzing the accommodation variant is a stable variance system can help the specialist to better understand the accommodation facility and roles of these two systems. It can assist the doctor in identifying accommodative and variance abnormalities. Accommodative anomalies include accommodative insufficiency, 2 paralysis accommodation, 3 spasm of accommodation, and last accommodative inflammation. Equipment, first trial frame, trial set, flipper, and reading chart. Procedure NRA, after the patient distance correction, ask the patient to view. And sorry Alif, tolong lanjut dulu ya. Ada pasien bentar.
Oke, untuk prosedur NRA, after the patient distance correction, ask the patient to view an egg later on near vision chart at distance of 40 centimeter and perform an RA by addition plus lens binocularly in plus 0.25 diopter. Step every 2 seconds until the patient sustained blur normal value plus 1.75 to plus 2. Yang share screen Dika ya. bentar Mas. Oh udah. Oke. Thank you. Untuk presentasi saya dan Dika.
Baik, bisa tolong di close, izin Mas Dika atau Mas Alif.
Ya Mas Dika, Mas Dika.
Ya, terima kasih. Kemudian kita next ke grup 2. Ada grupnya Mbak Dian dan Mas Made ya. Silakan Mbak Dian.
Saya izin share screen ya.
Baik, Mas Made silakan.
Oke, sudah terlihat slide-nya.
Silahkan bisa dimulai, Mas Made.
Okay, thank you. Today's topic that we're going to present is about diabetic mellitus effect to the eye. So what is diabetic mellitus? It describes a metabolic disorder of multiple etiology characterized by chronic hyperglycemia with disturbance of carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism resulting from defect in insulin secretion, insulin action, or both. There are two types of diabetes. The first one is IDDM or insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. It develops mostly frequently between 10 to 20 years of age. And the type 2 diabetes or NIDDM is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. It's developed mostly frequently between age of 50 and 70. So the ocular effects of the diabetes is firstly to the cornea and tears, tear glands. Secondly, aqueous, iris, lens, vitreous, retina, internal and external muscles. So the first one that we're going to discuss is about lids and conjunctiva. It prones to infect due to high blood sugar level, recurrent staph and blepharoconjunctivitis, loss of tears, and satellasma. And also there are sometimes dry eye syndrome, which high blood sugar levels can impair tear production, leading to reduced tear volume and dryness of the eyes. Diabetic can alter the composition of tears, including the balanced water, oils, and proteins. These changes can affect the quality and stability of tears, leading to increased evaporation and dryness of the eyes. The next is cornea. Corneal sensitivity is commonly impaired in diabetes. The sensory deficit may predispose to bacterial corneal ulcers, neurotrophic ulcers, and difficulties with contact lenses. And there are also pupil abnormalities, which rigid pupils is difficult to mydriasis. The cause is an autonomic neuropathy, partially denervating both the sphincter and the dilator muscles. There are also intraocular pressure, which a low intraocular pressure is associated with diabetic acidosis, which also cause a glaucoma, is a complication of rubiosis of the iris. So what is glaucoma and how it happens in the eye? So firstly, the eye can be divided into two parts, anterior segment and posterior segments. They are filled with two different fluids named aqueous humor and vitreous humor. And then the aqueous humor is secreted by the ciliary body and absorbed by a drainage system named canal of Schelm. If the canal of Schelm is blocked for some reason, the fluid gets accumulated and increase the pressure within the eye. This can damage the optic nerve and cause glaucoma, which is characterized by the peripheral vision loss. The diabetic increases the risk of developing a type of glaucoma called a open-angle glaucoma. And it can be treated by eye drops that can decrease the aqueous humor production, such as timolol, which is a beta blocker, or using prostaglandin analogs, such as bimatropost or latanoprost, which increase the outflow of aqueous humor. So the next effects of the eye is diabetic papillopathy. The diabetic papillopathy is an uncommon ocular manifestation of diabetes, and underlying pathogenesis is unclear, but it may be the result of small vessel disease. The next one is diabetic neuropathy. It's a paralysis of ocular muscles innervated by the third optic nerve. A sudden onset of diplopia and painful muscle paralysis associated with a homolateral headache. And the next one is diabetic retinopathy, which is the most important ocular complication of diabetes. And also the prevalence of diabetic retinopathy of any severity in the diabetic population is 30% prevalence of blindness due the DR is approximately 5%. So what is diabetic retinopathy? As the light enters through the eyes, through the pupils, it travels across the lens and it lands on the retina. Retina has the receptor to convert light waves into electric signals. The optic nerve carries the signals into brain to create images. The retina has a rich blood supply to support this complex task. And then when you have diabetes for a long period, you can damage these blood vessels and cause defects on the retina. This condition also called the diabetic retinopathy, and it has 3 stages. So the first stages is diabetes without retinopathy, as a wall of micro blood vessels are covered with a type of cell called pericytes. In this first stage, pericytes of retinal vessels are slowly damaged, but the retina will appear normal in eye examination and you will have no symptoms. The second stage will explain by Mbak Dia.
Okay, I will continue. For the second stage, non-proliferative retinopathy. In this stage, without the support of pericyte, walls of retinal blood vessel bulk out, creating microaneurysm. They appear as red dots in the retinal examination. When this microaneurysm ruptures, it gives rise to small blood and dot hemorrhage. And lipids and proteins will leak through the damaged vessel walls and collect within the retina as hard exudates. These hard exudates and microaneurysm characterize the non-proliferative retinopathy stage. Microaneurysm are considered as the first sign in diabetic retinopathy. For the third stage is proliferative retinopathy. Due to the vessel damage, the retina is deprived of oxygen. Therefore, it secretes a chemical called PEGF, or vascular endothelial growth factors, that stimulate new vessel formation. This new vessel formation is called neovascularization. But these new vessels are very fragile and can suddenly rupture and cause vitreous hemorrhage and retinal detachment. Therefore, proliferative retinopathy is treated aggressively with a technique called photocoagulation, where laser rays are directed at retinal vessels to stop new vessel formation and to seal the leaking vessels. And non-proliferative retinopathy is treated with antivascular endothelial growth factor injection, or anti-VEGF. Diabetic retinopathy, there are risk factors. First is duration of diabetes mellitus. Control of diabetes mellitus will not prevent but delays hypertension, renal disease, pregnancy, obesity, hyperlipidemia, smoking, and anemia. The next one is iris, hydrops of the iris, rubiosis iridis, neovascularization of iris, retinal hypoxia, release of vasoproliferative substance of amniogenetic factor. The next is lens, refractive error. There are three is myopia sieve, hypermetropic sieve, and cataract. For myopia sieve, increase in blood sugar level, hyperglycemia, increase in osmotic pressure of crystalline lens, increase in refractive index of lens. For hypermetropic sieve, decrease in blood sugar level, hypoglycemia, decrease in osmotic pressure of crystalline lens, and decrease in refractive index of lens. And last for cataract. Cataract is a major cause of vision impairment in people with diabetes. It occurs 10 till 20 years after the onset of insulin-dependent diabetes. Control of the diabetes with restoration of normal blood glucose levels stops progression of the obesity. The next disease is diabetic macular edema. We already know that retina is a collection of light receptors. The macula is the part of the retina that contains a vast majority of specialized light receptors called cones. Cones are sensitive only for certain wavelengths of light, such as green, blue, or red, a trait that brings the ability to differentiate colors. Therefore, macular is the part of the retina responsible for central, high-resolution color vision. When you have leaky blood vessels due to diabetic retinopathy, fluid can accumulate in the macula and cause blurred vision with floaters. Macular edema is usually treated with photocoagulation. How often should you undergo eye examination? Yearly eye examination are recommended for people with diabetes. This yearly screening should start right after the diagnosis in patients with type 2 diabetes and within 5 years of diagnosis in patients with type 1 diabetes. And how can you prevent or control diabetic eye disease? Controlling blood glucose levels is the best way to prevent and control diabetic eye disease. Blood pressure and cholesterol levels should be optimized. And if you are a smoker, quitting smoking will markedly slow down the progression of diabetic eye disease. These are some demonstrations when the eyes are affected by diabetes.
This is a basic vision simulation of what it's like walking down a hallway with various eye diseases. This one here is diabetic retinopathy, which early symptoms include floaters, blurriness, and dark areas of vision. Next here we have a cataract, and these come in all different levels of severity, but overall they cause general blurriness of vision. Next here we have glaucoma, which primarily affects a person's peripheral vision, so it's kind of like looking through a tube or a straw when walking down this college campus hallway. Next here we have macular degeneration, which primarily affects a person's central vision, and it can be in one or both eyes. Next here we have CMV retinitis, and depending on the person, the vision loss can vary greatly, but in this example, this is a loss of peripheral vision. And then lastly here is just a general blindness example. Only a small percentage of people who are blind can't see anything at all. For many, they can still see some lights and shadows and shapes.
Okay.
This is a big.
So there's some demonstration. affected by diabetes. Thank you so much for your attention.
Oke, for the next group dari Bu Yemi and Koko Lafif, silahkan.
Oke, izin share screen.
Okay, good evening all. We want to presentation of glaucoma. Next, please. Ini adalah gambaran pada mata pasien yang
glaucoma is an eye condition that can lead to blindness. The very front of the eye can be divided. The anterior found between the iris and the cornea, and the posterior chamber between the eye lens. The key anatomic structures are the trabecular meshwork found in the anterior chamber and the ciliary body found in the posterior chamber. The eye produces a fluid called aqueous humor, which is secreted by the ciliary body into the posterior chamber. This fluid then flows through the pupil into the anterior chamber. From here, it drains out the eye through the trabecular meshwork. In a healthy eye, the rate of secretion balances the rate of drainage. In glaucoma, the drainage canal is partially or completely blocked, resulting in fluid buildup in the chambers. With fluid buildup, pressure within the eye increases as the fluid pushes the lens backwards into the main eye cavity known as the vitreous body. This in turn compresses and damages the blood vessels and nerve fibers running at the back of the eye. Initially, the damage results in patches of vision loss, and if left untreated, may lead to total blindness. There are two major types of glaucoma, open angle and angle closure. Open angle glaucoma, or chronic glaucoma, is caused by a partial blockage of the drainage canal. However, the angle between the cornea and the iris is open, meaning the entrance to the canal is clear, but the flow of aqueous humor is slower than normal. The pressure builds up gradually in the eye over a long period of time. Symptoms appear progressively, starting from peripheral vision loss, and may go unnoticed until central vision is affected. Progression of glaucoma can be stopped with treatments, but the part of vision that is already lost cannot be restored.
Definisi of glaucoma is a group that characterized by an abnormally high intraocular or EOP, optic nerve dystrophy, and peripheral visual loss. It's a symptomatic condition of the eye what the EOP is more than normal or above 25 mm Hg. Onset of glaucoma leads to permanent decay of the optic nerve and visual field loss. Cause of glaucoma. Number one, genetic family history of glaucoma. Jadi glaucoma itu juga karena faktor genetik. Jadi kalau misalnya ada keluarga atau orang tua yang mengalami penyakit glaucoma, sebaiknya anaknya juga dicek ke dokter untuk mengetahui apakah mengalami glaucoma juga atau tidak. Number two, ocular hypertensi, a condition where the pressure in the eye of the EOP is too high, continually high pressure within the eye can have vision loss. And three, long-term period. Long-term use of topical and symptomatic steroid producing secondary open angle glaucoma similar to chronic simple glaucoma. Jadi faktor penyakit sekunder juga menjadi salah satu penyebab penyakit glaucoma. Next, klasifikasi of glaucoma. Number one, congenital glaucoma. True congenital glaucoma, infantile glaucoma, and juvenile glaucoma. Number two, acquired glaucoma, open angle glaucoma, axial closure glaucoma and secondary glaucoma. Number 3, normal tension glaucoma. Next, management of glaucoma. Number 1, tonometry. Jadi untuk mendeteksi glaukoma itu bisa dilakukan dengan pengecekan tekanan bola mata dengan alat tonometri, kemudian pemeriksaan dengan slit lamp, kemudian dengan oftalmoskop, pemeriksaan oftalmoskop, dan pemeriksaan penunjangnya ada perimetri dan OCT or optic disc. Next, selanjutnya presentasinya akan dilanjutkan oleh teman saya Lapis. Silakan Lapis.
Yeah, thank you. For the case studies, the name is Mr. P. The place is at Jakarta, date of birth 26 June 1969. For the sex is male, and for the complaint, blurred vision, left eye look like white blocking, and then blood sugar tension is 126 mg/dL, and for the blood pressure for the systolic is 140, and for the diastolic is 95. For the timeline, first visit on 23 August 2023. For the subject is blur. For the objective is IOP 16/36, and for the CDR ratio left eye is 0.8. In this case, the left IOP left is 36, is above 25 mmHg. So the doctor will complain is glaucoma. For the assessment is glaucoma left eye, and then the doctor give the Glauceta 2x1, Asparca 2x1, and Glau Plus 1 time for left eye. For the first control on 30 August, the subject is for the control left eye. For the objective is IOP 15/31. CD ratio of right eye is 0.3, and for the left eye is 0.9. The blood sugar tension is 126. For the visual acuity is 1.0 left both eyes. For the assessment is chronic angle closure both eyes, and for the planning, Proveco trabec left eye, Veco right eye, and then Glauceta and Asparca 3x1. On 1 September 2023, she has Veco plus trabeculectomy on left eye. And then for the 2 September, this is the pseudophakia on first day after Veco. The subject is post-op left eye, and then the result is IOP 19 for the right eye and 15 for the left eye, and the IOL is good. For the assessment is pseudophakia left eye, and then for the planning is lanjut medicine. For control on 9 September, for the subject is control post Veco on left eye. On objective is visual acuity left eye is 0.8, and for the IOP is 13 for the right eye and 16 for the left eye. For the assessment is pseudophakia left eye and post-trabeculectomy. And for the planning is Polydex, Molsin over 3 hours for left eye, and Glau Plus 1 times for the right eye. And then on 16 September, subject is post operation left eye. For the visual acuity is 1.0 both eye. For the IOP is 12 for the right eye and 18 for the left eye. assessment is pseudophakia and trabeculectomy left eye. For the planning is Polydex and Molsin 4 times on left eye and Glaucus 1 time at right eye. The sex control on 16 September for the subject is post OS. For the objective is visual acuity 1.0 both eye. For the assessment is pseudophakia and trabeculectomy on left eye, and the planning is Polydex and Molsin 4 times on left eye and Glaucus 1 times on right eye. And then 7 control at 23 September for the subject is post-op left eye, and for the visual acuity 1.0 both eye. For the IOP is 17 for the right eye, and for the left eye is 15. For the assessment is pseudophakia and trabeculectomy left eye, and then for the planning is Glaucus 1 times both eye and Polydex 1 times left eye. Yeah, this is the OCT result optic disc for the right eye. You see the CD ratio is 0.73, and for the horizontal, and then for the vertical is 0.46. This is terlalu tinggi untuk ukuran optik disc-nya untuk glaukoma. Lalu for the left eye, CD ratio is 0.88 for horizontal, and for the vertical is 0.96. The perimeter result for the right eye, yeah, this is black blocking. It's mean udah peripheral on the top-nya sudah menyebar. And then for the left eye, is it lebih buruk lagi, black blocking-nya semakin banyak. Nah, this is the normal eyes. At glaucoma, the optic disc is 0.2, and then for the right eye, and then for the left eye is 0.3. This is the case of normal eyes for OCT. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Oke, ada yang ingin bertanya dari kelompok yang lain? Terima kasih untuk tim kelompok 3 dari Bu Yamni dan Koko Lafis.
Thank you.
Oke, for the next, saya akan mempresentasikan materi. Kebetulan izin untuk Pak Nova hari ini, mohon izin tidak bisa ikut kelas. Saya akan mempresentasikan untuk materi dari kelompok 4. Izin saya share. Oke. Mohon izin, apa sudah terlihat materinya?
Sudah, Mas Yanto.
Oke, terima kasih. Selamat malam semua teman-teman dan Miss Prema dan Miss Ami. Saya dari kelompok 4 ingin mempresentasikan mengenai The Color Vision Test by Nova Joko Pamungkas dan saya dengan Sianto. So, we go to the video for the color vision. We can see for the what is color blindness.
Huh? What is color blindness?
A color festival.
No. Color blindness or color deficiency is a vision problem. Now, our eyes have light-sensitive cells called rods and cones.
Can I put ice cream on these cones?
Oh, you are just unbelievable. Rods are responsible for black and white vision. They do not detect color, whereas cones detect color. There are 3 types of cones. One cone perceives red light, another perceives green, and the third perceives blue. Together, these cones help us to see the whole spectrum of colors. Now, in some cases, when one or more types of cones do not work properly, it causes color blindness. People with such deficiency have difficulty in distinguishing between certain colors or shades. For example, in red-green color blindness, the apple tree may appear like this.
Oke, dari video ini kita bisa they have for the human visualization for color blindness. Color blindness is occur when cone cells located in the retinal tissue at the back of the eye don't function or damage. This hand, human can see the color from the wavelength of light then is impacted through to eyeball by interpretation of the brain. And then the second, the cellular organization of the retina. They have cone and rod cells. And then for the procedural, for the decrease, apa yang terjadi dalam retina, ini ada the decreased ability to see the color of difference in the color. They have deuteranopia, tritanopia, and protanopia. For the kinds of the color blindness, for the first one, red-green color blindness, the most common type in congenital or inherited. Kemudian it far more common in males, about 5 until 8%, and then on female 0.5%, but still very rare. And for the people with red or green color blindness, red and green look similar to each other as a kind of brownish mid-tone. There is also blue or yellow types of color blends, but is even more rare. For the second, kinds of color blindness is acquired or related to an eye disease or condition. For this case, retinal or optic nerve disorder are most likely to cause the kind of color blindness, and then in this case, symptoms such as overall failing vision of persistent dark or white spot may be noticed first. And then the type of color vision test, the first one, anomaloscope test. Ini adalah gambar alat tesnya. Kemudian yang kedua, for the second, plate test. Plate test biasanya kita familiar dengan Ishihara test. Kemudian yang ketiga, for the third, arrangement test. And the fourth, lateral test. So we go to anomaloscope test. For the anomaloscope test, we have the video. For the anomaloscope test are optical instrument in which the observer must manipulate stimulus control knobs to match to color field in color and brightness. And then the anomaloscope is the standard instrument for the diagnosis of color defect. And when supplemented by information from other color vision tests, the result provided by this instrument permit the accurate classification of all color deficiencies. And evaluation or reliability should compare test and retest data. Evaluation of validity should be compare plate test data and anomaloscope test data. We have some video. Okay, this video gambar bentuk anomaloscope test. Ini fungsinya, kemudian ini akurasi dari pemeriksaannya, accurate examination of color perception. This one for the accurate examination-nya. Oke, kemudian reliable diagnosis to color vision deficiencies. Oke. For the second test is flat test. The flat test is the observer must identification color symbol in background, most pseudo-chromatic plates. Identification with of for color is most similar to standard color, like city universities, or identification with circle maps in a gray rectangle, like swan chromatosphere test. Okay, and then there are many types of pseudo-chromatic test. Example, American Optical Hardiran Rattler, Ishihara, Iforain, Tokyo Medical College, and all provide efficient screening until 90 to 95% of congenital red green defect. For the basically, this test consists of series of cards on which color dots of this of various size are pinned to form a multicolor figure against of a multicolor background. The figure is some easily identified letter, Arabic numeral, or geometric configuration. For the example, a circle, triangle, or cross. The only systematic difference between the figure and background dots is in color. The figure composed of dot or one or more color, and the background is composed of dots of different color or colors. Variation in the size, lightness, and saturation of the dots may be employed so that identification of the intended figure by quiz or other than who is less likely. For the observer with normal color vision can detect the hue difference between figure and background, and consequently can easily read the figure. But observer with defective color vision may be fail to distinguish between figure and background color, and hence fail to read the figure. And then for the arrangement test, the observer is required to arrange the color sample by similarity in sequential color series. Usually the color are mounted in cap which are numbered on the back and can be moved about freely during performance. For the arrangement test may be designed for evaluation of fine hue discrimination, like FIM 100 hue test. For evaluation of color confusion, Pann's-Moon panel 15 and Lantoni Turret panel, Lantoni new color test. For the evaluation, neutral zones or color seen as gray for the Lantoni news color test. And for evaluation for saturation discrimination, like Sahler saturation test, ISCC color aptitude test. And for latent tests were designed as practical means for measuring the ability of seamen, fairly personal and early pilot to identify and describe navigation aids and signal. Accordingly, this test emphasizes correct color recognition as the important testing variable. The design of latent test is straightforward, necessitating neither the construction of complex optical system as do anomalous curve, nor the development of complex color printing procedure. As for pseudo-chromatical plate test, latent test simply require that a system be developed for presenting colored light, duplicating signal light to the observer for identification. The several different model latent are available: Gales Arcid, Eddy Green, Martin, Swan color threshold test, and Van Mode latent. Okay, this one for the Ishihara test. We can see in this video YouTube This one. Bagaimana cara ngetesnya? Ini ada caranya. Mohon ditunggu sebentar.
To examine colour vision, we use Ishihara plates. The first plate, the number 12 here, you can notice it's different to the other numbers. It's much easier, and it's not a test of colour vision. It's a test of the patient's ability to do the test. So if they can't see this number, there's no point in proceeding with the Ishihara. You test one eye at a time, going through all the numbers until you get.
Okay, for the second test, for the color vision test arrangement by lentily, ini videonya agak panjang. Passmon lentily combined di 15 test, nama tesnya.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruth Shoge, and I would like to introduce you to the Farnsworth-Lanthony Combined D15 test. It is the newest version of two popular color deficiency tests. The Combined D15 accomplishes improved color vision testing because it uses a pair of color arrangement panels, each with different sensitivity. Therefore, protan, deutan, and tritan deficiencies are each evaluated in one easy test. The Combined D15 is a convenient combination of two classical color arrangement tests. The Farnsworth dichotomous test, which grouped people as either strongly or mildly color deficient, and the Lanthony desaturated test, which tested people for mild color deficiency or normal color appreciation. These two tests can also be purchased separately on Goulden's website. All three tests come complete with a contemporary storage case. The design provides a quick and easy method to remove and replace the caps, which will save you and your patient time. When the patient finishes replacing the caps, the box is closed and turned over to reveal a transparent plastic bottom, allowing the numbers on the bottom to be in clear view to facilitate quick and accurate scoring. The Combined D15 test also comes with a divider slide, so that only one of the color test caps can be used at a time, if preferred. Score sheets also come with the test to represent the order of the patient's arrangement of the caps with respect to the correct sequence around the color circle. This allows the clinician to compare the access of color deficiency. These color kits also include Goulden C daylight glasses, which converts incandescent light into the correct illuminant C for color testing, as well as a pair of gloves to prevent the transfer of oils from the patient's fingers to the color caps so that your test will last for many years to come. Finally, you can have a complete test in your office which is designed to correctly identify all congenital and acquired color deficiencies, no matter how slight. The tests are all available on our website.
Okay, for the last, we have a color vision test with lantern test. We have some video from on lantern flashlight.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruth Shoge, and I'm here to introduce the Farnsworth Lantern Flashlight by Golden Optics.
Sorry, I have some problem with my signal.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruth Shoge, and I'm here to introduce the Farnsworth Lantern Flashlight by Golden Ophthalmics. This flashlight is an accurate and inexpensive substitute for the original Farnsworth lantern. It compares faithfully to the original in construction, chromaticity, and performance with color-deficient observers. This test uses 9 interchangeable filters that recreates the chromaticity of the original Farnsworth lantern. This lantern has been used since Dean Farnsworth first described it in 1946 for testing the color signal discrimination ability of color anomalous sailors. This test has continued to have long-standing application in the military and the transportation industries to qualify operators of ships, vehicles, and aircraft that are known to have failed other color vision tests, such as the Ishihara. This test is administered by showing a pair of vertically oriented lights consisting of combinations of red, green, or yellow-white. The patient is then asked to identify the 2 colors. By design, the Farnsworth Lantern flashlight allows mild color deficiency conditions to pass the test, while still excluding most of the moderate or severe cases. The original test device has long since stopped being manufactured, and more modern equivalents are quite expensive for the limited use they see in a typical optometrist office. Now, with the Farnsworth Lantern flashlight, you can be sure you are providing for all of your patients' needs. As always, Golden products are designed to save you time.
Okay, untuk for the test for the familiar in Indonesia, maybe we have istihara test. Okay, for the demikian paparan dari kelompok 4. Terima kasih. Selamat malam. Berikut ini referensi dari pemaparannya. Terima kasih. Selamat malam. Gimana teman-teman? Ada yang mau memberikan tanggapan mungkin? Ini nanti materinya akan saya share ke Miss Prema dan Miss Ami untuk rekaman hari ini. Mungkin kita akhiri atau gimana? Izin?
Tidak ada sesi pertanyaan kan ya?
Nggak ada Pak, izin.
Ya, mungkin rekamannya stop aja.
Oke, baik.